What is up, everybody?
Hello. Hi,
Hello. How are you all?
Jen. How are you?
Good. You sound sleepy.
A little bit. It's really cold. I was very impressed. I thought, why would I want to move to West Coast? It's so
Well, I'm going to make you even colder. I was on a hike this morning.
wow.
Woke up at 5:30 a.m. Hit the trail
Wow.
by like I don't know 6:45. So it was good.
Wow, that's very impressive. It take me 40 minutes to get myself get out of bed and work out in my living room.
Well, you know what? That's why I woke up at 5:30, but I didn't actually really start moving until about 6. So I
It's
hear
hard. It's so cold.
you know what? But you warm up real quick. So.
Yes.
Good
Yes.
stuff. Good stuff.
Keep
All
in
right,
shape.
everyone. We're going to wait for a little bit for people to trickle in. We had two missed sessions, unfortunately. One was just we didn't have one that day, and the other one was whatever, kind of a admin issue. So let's wait for people to trickle in for a little bit, and then we'll get into it. Now's a great time if you want to grab some snacks or whatever. Go for it. And bum, ba-da-dum, bum, bum. All right, I only got three. So here, I'm gonna go grab some water real quick, and I'll come back probably. We'll probably start at like 11:07. Everyone, we're gonna start at like around 11:07. So hold tight. Now's a good time to grab some snacks and drinks or coffee or water or whatever you need. All right. Well, we got a small class today. How's everybody's week so far?
Hello, good. Everything good.
Good.
It's
Good.
Ellie here.
Nice. How about whose iPhone? Just says iPhone. Hey, Tanya.
I'm multitasking, but I'm here.
I like it. One of the people's names is iPhone, so I have no idea who that is, but good to have you, iPhone, and Tanya and Maggie and Ellie. So I guess we have a small class today. That's all good. We'll go right into it and go into. Let's do our weekly daily 10-4. All right. So let's see. Ellie, how have your lead generation been going? How many calls did you make? Gosh, it's almost been like a week now. So
No, actually today is gonna be, oh no, on the 20th is going to be a month with my license. So I've
Nice.
been kind of rushing. I don't want to waste time.
I like it. How many?
So this week, so I had 20 by Monday, and then I contact 5 more. And I will say from 20, 10 people that I'm talking and may possible do
Perfect.
something with them.
So
Yeah.
20 and 10. All right.
Yes.
I like it. Good job. Maggie Pay. You there, Maggie?
Hello?
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Sorry. I probably called like 10 people, but I feel like the real have a conversation with me interesting is only like 6. And 4 people are just like, oh, whatever, but I tried.
Sure. Hey, that's all good. You know, it's all about the numbers.
Yeah.
All right, Tanya, how about you?
So I was on vacation last week, but I've got 5 and 3.
Atta girl. Where'd you go to vacation?
Another hot spot, Texas.
Sounds good.
But it's so calming and relaxed. And I had spoke with Josh. Once I get my feet wet here, I'm also going to hang my license in Texas. So
okay. Sounds like a plan. I like it. You know, I have a lot of friends in Texas, so I'll have to hit you up if I ever get a referral out there.
Oh, please. Yes.
Absolutely. Very good. I forgot to give everyone credit for today. iPhone. Do we know who iPhone is yet? Nope. All right. Sounds good. Okay. iPhone is mysterious. I'm kidding. Okay. And where's Ellie? I need to give you credit as well. Awesome. So before we get into showing homes and stuff, which is honestly probably the easiest thing that we have in real estate, there are some tips and tricks that we're going to cover and stuff like that. I wanted to touch upon our numbers. If we go ahead and look at what we have right here that I'm showing on the screen, you know, everybody has certain numbers that they're trying to hit per day, per week. And if we look at the numbers, oftentimes we're falling a little bit short on what we're saying, what we're trying to do, and what we're trying to accomplish. So, just out of curiosity, what do you think is holding us back from doing at least at a bare minimum 10 contacts a day?
Well, I know for me, I do the training. Like I've literally been on calls with Keller from 9 to 2 today. And then I have to get my other work done. And so it's just kind of hard to participate in the training sessions that I'm supposed to, and then also make the calls that I need to make. So
Sure.
I am, again, it's all about time management and budgeting time and all. So I'll do better, but I just think that's like the biggest hiccup for me right now.
Sure. Atta girl, no worries. How about you, Maggie?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I mean, lately I'm just a little crazy because, you know, I still had a daytime job hairdresser. So mostly I can like talk to my client a little bit when my boss is not around, you know, and that took me like 10 hours a day. And because I just got so busy with my daytime job. But that's not
Perfect.
actually I called in at nighttime. I will call a little more people next week.
Perfect. Atta girl. And how about you, Ellie? I think you hit some good numbers, but I think we're still a little short. What's holding us that back from doing 10 contacts a day?
Yeah, I know I'm short. So I'm not doing cold calls. Mostly my clients or the people I contact are referrals, people I have emailed, a lot of social media, a lot of Instagram, and I can send private texts and things like that. But I'm not doing cold calls yet. And I think well, this week it's been a tough week for me. Well, not good, but I had this client that we were dealing with, the new listing I got. So I got a little bit too focused on with him, with the marketing, the pictures, the putting the property and sending text to people about this new property. So I know I've been a little bit not really focused on the other side to get more contacts.
Sure, I hear you. Hey, listen, you know what? Real estate to me is always, it's really about the numbers. It's how frequently can we be in contact with new people and just expanding our sphere. Now, I was hoping somebody was going to say this one thing, but frankly, I think a lot of it is fear. Because I mean, frankly, when we do cold calls or we're doing warm contacts or anything like that, oftentimes one of the number one things people say, I'm a little bit scared to do it. I'm a little bit nervous to reach out to some people. And has anybody ever experienced that?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Sure. And what do you think is like the thing that holds us back usually?
Well, for me, as
yeah,
no,
go ahead, Tanya. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's okay.
Okay, for me it's like because I'm very intense, my personality is intense. Like I'm not quiet, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be so annoying. So for me, sometimes it's that, especially because most of the group is the contacts I have met for all this time, and I have a lot of people that I know, and if I'm calling them constantly, I feel like they're gonna be like blocking me or something.
Sure, I hear you. Well, with that said, I'm going to do this a little bit differently because this class is going to be a little bit shorter, mainly because what we're going to be going over is just showing houses, and I can do that without even looking at the slides. I'll tell you a lot of tips and tricks. A lot of the stuff that we have in the material is very, very, very hokey. And frankly, in Los Angeles, it's a little bit different. But it's also some good stuff. But before we get into that, I want to show a video that I really, really love. And I think oftentimes when we talk about lead generation and why we're not doing it, frankly, it's a fear of rejection. When you really boil it down to the nitty gritty, and it's not a good feeling getting on the phone for 2 hours a day or an hour a day or even 30 minutes a day of hearing people go, I'm not interested, I'm not interested, I'm not interested, I'm not interested. And you kind of go, oh, wow, that was a real morale booster. But the truth of the matter is the more often you do it, the easier it gets. And frankly, it kind of becomes a game. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to play this TED Talk. It is, it says it's 18 minutes, but there's a little bit of stuff that I'm going to cut out of it. But it's a TED Talk. This gentleman is an astronaut, and he talks about fear and what he learned about going blind in space. So let's take a look at this. We'll have a discussion after the TED Talk. We'll all kind of go back and forth, and I'll ask what did you take out of it, and what's holding you back maybe in business, and how can we move forward and kind of perfect it a little bit better. So let's go check that out. I think everybody will really enjoy it. And I need to share my screen. All right. So again, I'm going to ask you all, what did you take out of this at the end of this, and let me know what you think. Hey, Michael, thanks for joining. Howdy. I think you're on mute.
Hey, sorry. I was watching one of those Scott Leroy webinars, so it ran late.
Nice. Very cool. So Michael, just so you know what we're about to do, We always try to focus on lead generation and whatnot, and sometimes it boils down to the fear of rejection. So we're going to play a little video. It's a TED Talk by a really cool astronaut, and after we're going to talk about how we can implement some of the stuff that he talks about with our real estate. So in any event, let's go watch it, and we'll have a nice little convo after, and then we'll get into how to show houses. That's going to be a little bit different during COVID, so we'll talk about that in depth after that. But here we go, and without further ado.
What's the scariest thing you've ever done? Or another way to say it is, what's the most dangerous thing that you've ever done? And why did you do it? I know what the most dangerous thing is that I've ever done, because NASA does the math. You look back to the first 5 shuttle launches, the odds of a catastrophic event during the first 5 shuttle launches was 1 in 9. And even when I first flew on the shuttle back in 1995, 74 shuttle flight, the odds were still, now that we look back, about 1 in 38 or so, 1 in 35, 1 in 40. Not great odds. So it's a really interesting day when you wake up at the Kennedy Space Center and you're going to go to space that day. Because you realize by the end of the day, you're either going to be floating effortlessly, gloriously in space, or you'll be dead. You go into, at the Kennedy Space Center, into the suit-up room, the same room that our childhood heroes got dressed in, that Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin got suited in to go ride the Apollo rocket to the moon. And I got my pressure suit built around me and rode down outside in the van, heading out to the launch pad, in the Astro van, heading out in the launch pad. And as you come around the corner at the Kennedy Space Center, it's normally pre-dawn, and in the distance, lit up by the huge xenon lights, is your spaceship, the vehicle that is going to take you off the planet. And the crew is sitting in the Astro van, sort of hushed, almost holding hands, looking at that as it gets bigger and bigger. We ride the elevator up, and we crawl in on your hands and knees into the spaceship, one at a time, and you sort of worm your way up into your chair and plunk yourself down on your back. And the hatch is closed, and suddenly, what has been a lifetime of both dreams and denial is becoming real. Something that I dreamed about, in fact, that I chose to do when I was 9 years old, is now suddenly within not too many minutes of actually happening. And in the astronaut business, the shuttle is a very complicated vehicle. It's the most complicated flying machine ever built. And in the astronaut business, we have a saying, which is, there is no problem so bad that you can't make it worse. And so you're very conscious in the cockpit. You're thinking about all of the things that you might have to do, all the switches and all the wickets you have to go through. And as the time gets closer and closer, this excitement is building. And then about 3.5 minutes before launch, the huge nozzles on the back, like the size of big church bells, swing back and forth. And the mass of them is such that it sways the whole vehicle, like the vehicle's alive underneath you, like an elephant getting up off its knees or something. And then about 30 seconds before launch, the vehicle is completely alive. It is ready to go. The APUs are running. The computers are all self-contained. It's ready to leave the planet. And 15 seconds before launch, this happens. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, start, 2, 1, boost ignition, and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery, returning to the space station, paving the way for future missions. It is incredibly powerful to be on board one of these things. You are in the grip of something that is vastly more powerful than yourself. It's shaking you so hard you can't focus on the instruments in front of you. It's like you're in the jaws of some enormous dog, and there's a foot in the small of your back pushing you to space, accelerating wildly straight up, shouldering your way through the air, and you're in a very complex place, paying attention, watching the vehicle go through each one of its wickets with a steadily increasing smile on your face. After 2 minutes, those solid rockets explode off, and then you just have the liquid engines, the hydrogen and oxygen, and it's as if you're in a dragster with your foot to the floor and accelerating like you've never accelerated. You get lighter and lighter. The force gets on us heavier and heavier. It feels like someone's pouring cement on you or something, until finally, after about 8 minutes and 40 seconds or so, we are finally at exactly the right altitude, exactly the right speed, the right direction. The engine shut off, and we're weightless, and we're alive. It's an amazing experience. But why would we take that risk? Why would you do something that dangerous? And in my case, the answer is fairly straightforward. I was inspired as a youngster that this is what I wanted to do. I watched the first people walk on the moon, and to me, it was just an obvious thing. I want to somehow turn myself into that. But the real question is, how do you deal with the danger of it and the fear that comes from it? How do you deal with fear versus danger? And having the goal in mind, thinking about where it might lead, directed me to a life of looking at all of the small details to allow this to become possible, to be able to launch and go help build a space station where you are on board a 1 million-pound creation that's going around the world at 5 miles a second, 8 kilometers a second around the world 16 times a day, with experiments on board that are teaching us what the substance of the universe is made of, and running 200 experiments inside, but maybe even more importantly, allowing us to see the world in a way that is impossible through any other means. To be able to look down and have, if your jaw could drop, it would, the jaw-dropping gorgeousness of the turning orb, like a self-propelled art gallery of fantastic, constantly changing beauty that is the world itself. And you see, because of the speed, a sunrise or a sunset every 45 minutes for half a year. And the most magnificent part of all that is to go outside on a spacewalk. You are in a one-person spaceship that is your spacesuit, and you're going through space with the world. It's an entirely different perspective. You're not looking up at the universe. You and the Earth are going through the universe together. And you're holding on with one hand, looking at the world turn beside you. It's like roaring silently with color and texture as it pours by just mesmerizingly next to you. And if you can tear your eyes away from that and you look under your arm down at the rest of everything, it's an unfathomable blackness, with a texture you feel like you could stick your hand into. And you are holding on with one hand, one link to the other 7 billion people. And I was outside of my first spacewalk when my left eye went blind. And I didn't know why. Suddenly my left eye slammed shut in great pain, and I couldn't figure out why my eye wasn't working. I was thinking, what do I do next? I thought, well, maybe that's why we have two eyes. So I kept working. But unfortunately, without gravity, tears don't fall. And so you just get a bigger and bigger ball of whatever that.
Hey, is the video cut off for other people? It is? Huh.
Yes,
A
it
bit.
is.
Yeah.
Let's see. Huh, I don't know. That's weird. Like a bit or a lot of it?
I'm stuck at 818.
Okay. No, like is the size like cut off?
No.
Oh, okay. Michael, I think you might be on your own. Sorry, bud. But yeah, hold on. Let's do this again.
that is mixed with your tears on your eye until eventually the ball becomes so big that the surface tension takes it across the bridge of your nose like a tiny little waterfall and goes goosh into your other eye. And now I was completely blind outside the spaceship. So what's the scariest thing you've ever done? We have two eyes, so I kept working, but
Going back a little
unfortunately
bit.
without gravity. And if you can tear your eyes away from that and you look under your arm down at the rest of everything, it's an unfathomable blackness, like with a like texture you feel like you could stick your hand into. And you are holding on with one hand, one link to the other 7 billion people. And I was outside of my first spacewalk when my left eye went blind. And I didn't know why. Suddenly my left eye slammed shut in great pain, and I couldn't figure out why my eye wasn't working. I was thinking, what do I do next? I thought, well, maybe that's why we have two eyes. So I kept working. But unfortunately, without gravity, tears don't fall. And so you just get a bigger and bigger ball of whatever that is mixed with your tears on your eye until eventually the ball becomes so big that the surface tension takes it across the bridge of your nose like a tiny little waterfall and goes goosh into your other eye. And now I was completely blind outside the spaceship. So what's the scariest thing you've ever done? Maybe it's spiders. A lot of people are afraid of spiders. I think you should be afraid of spiders. Spiders are creepy, and they got long, hairy legs. And spiders like this one, the brown recluse. I mean, it's horrible. If a brown recluse bites you, you end up with one of these horrible big necrotic things on your leg. And there might be one right now sitting on the chair behind you, in fact. And how do you know? And so a spider lands on you, and you go through this great spasmy attack because spiders are scary. But then you could say, well, is there a brown recluse sitting on the chair beside me or not? I don't know. Are there brown recluses here? So if you actually do the research, you find out that in the world, there are about 50,000 different types of spiders. And there are about 24 that are venomous out of 50,000. And if you're in Canada, because of the cold winters, here in BC, there's about 720, 730 different types of spiders. And there's one that is venomous, and its venom isn't even fatal. It's just kind of like a nasty sting. And that spider, not only that, but that spider has beautiful markings on it. It's like, I'm dangerous. I got a big radiation symbol on my back. It's the black widow. So if you're even slightly careful, you can avoid running into the one spider, and it lives close to the ground. And when you're walking along, you are never going to go through a spider web where a black widow bites you. Spider webs like this, it doesn't build those. It builds them down in the corners. And it's for black widow because it's the female spider eats the male. It doesn't care about you. So in fact, the next time you walk into a spider web, you don't need to panic and go with your caveman reaction. The danger is entirely different than the fear. And how do you get around it, though? How do you change your behavior? Well, next time you see a spider web, have a good look, make sure it's not a black widow spider, and then walk into it. And then you see another spider web and walk into that one. It's just a little bit of fluffy stuff. It's not a big deal. And the spider that may come out is no more threat to you than a ladybug or a butterfly. And then I guarantee you, if you walk through 100 spider webs, you will have changed your fundamental human behavior, your caveman reaction. And you will now be able to walk in the park in the morning and not worry about that spider web or into your grandma's attic or whatever, into your own basement. And you can apply this to anything. If you're outside on a spacewalk and you're blinded, your natural reaction would be to panic, I think. It would make you nervous and worried. But we had considered all the venom, and we had practiced with a whole variety of different spider webs. We knew everything there is to know about the spacesuit, and we trained underwater thousands of times. And we don't just practice things going right, we practice things going wrong all the time, so that you are constantly walking through those spider webs, and not just underwater, but also in virtual reality labs with the helmet and the gloves, so you feel like it's realistic. So when you finally actually get outside on a spacewalk, it feels much different than it would if you just went out first time. And even if you're blinded, your natural panicky reaction doesn't happen. Instead, you kind of look around and go, okay, I can't see, but I can hear, I can talk. Scott Berezynski's out here with me. He could come over and help me. We actually practiced incapacitated crew rescue. So he could float me like a blimp and stuff me into the airlock if we had to. I could find my own way back. It's not nearly as big a deal. And actually, if you keep on crying for a while, whatever that guck was that's in your eyes starts to dilute, you can start to see again. And Houston, if you negotiate with them, they will let you then keep working. And we finished everything on the spacewalk. And when we came back inside, Jeff got a cotton batting and took the crusty stuff around my eyes. And it turned out it was just the anti-fog, sort of a mixture of oil and soap that got in my eye. And now we use Johnson's No More Tears, which we probably should have been using right from the very beginning. But the key to that is by looking at the difference between perceived danger and actual danger. Where's the real risk? What is the real thing that you should be afraid of? Not just a generic fear of bad things happening. You can fundamentally change your reaction to things so that it allows you to go places and see things and do things that otherwise would be completely denied to you. Where you can see the hard pan south of the Sahara, or you can see New York City in a way that is almost dreamlike, or the unconscious gingham of Eastern Europe fields, or the Great Lakes as a collection of small puddles. You can see the fault lines of San Francisco and the way the water pours out under the bridge, just entirely different than any other way that you could have if you had not found a way to conquer your fear. You see a beauty that otherwise never would have happened. It's time to come home at the end. This is our spaceship, the Soyuz, that little one. 3 of us climb in, and then this spaceship detaches from the station and falls into the atmosphere. These 2 parts here actually melt. We jettison them and they burn up in the atmosphere. The only part that survives is the little bullet that we're riding in, and it falls into the atmosphere. And in essence, you are riding a meteorite home. And riding meteorites is scary, and it ought to be. But instead of riding into the atmosphere, just screaming like you would if suddenly you found yourself riding a meteorite back to Earth, instead, 20 years previously, we had started studying Russian. And then once you learned Russian, then we learned orbital mechanics in Russian. And then we learned vehicle control theory. And then we got into the simulator and practiced over and over and over again. And in fact, you can fly this meteorite and steer it and land in about a 15-kilometer circle anywhere on the Earth. So in fact, when our crew was coming back into the atmosphere inside the Soyuz, we weren't screaming, we were laughing. It was fun. And when the great big parachute opened, we knew that if it didn't open, there's a second parachute, and it runs on a nice little clockwork mechanism. So we came back, we came thundering back to Earth, and this is what it looked like to land in a Soyuz in Kazakhstan.
And you can see one of those search and recovery helicopters. Once again, that helicopter, part of a dozen such Russian Mi-8 helicopters. Touchdown, 3:14 and 48 seconds a.m. Central Time.
And you roll to a stop as if someone threw your spaceship at the ground and it tumbles end over end. But you're ready for it. You're in a custom-built seat. You know how the shock absorber works. And then eventually the Russians reach in, drag you out, plunk you into a chair, and you can now look back at what was an incredible experience. You have taken the dreams of that 9-year-old boy, which were impossible and dauntingly scary, dauntingly terrifying, and put them into practice and figured out a way to reprogram yourself, to change your primal fear so that it allowed you to come back with a set of experiences and a level of inspiration for other people that never could have been possible otherwise. Just to finish,
Okay, we're going to finish right there. So, what the hell does real estate have to do with astronauts? Nothing really, but what he was talking about, the entire thing was about fear. In real estate, we tend to overcomplicate things very, very often. And frankly, that's the number one thing I hear about, you know, new agents trying to achieve, let's say, success in real estate. You overcomplicate it. So what does this have to do with real estate? Why did I want to play this video? And more particular for the people who got on in the middle of this video and was like, why the hell is he playing this thing about an astronaut? I was talking about what prevents us from cold calling. What prevents us from making our daily 10 contacts per day? And I think it honestly might be boiled down to it's fear. It's fear of rejection, fear of not knowing what to say, fear of failure. And we're all starting this journey in real estate, and we're all taking these classes to learn about what to say, what to do, what have you. So when we go over our numbers every single class, and we say we're going to do 10 calls, 10 contacts a day, and we add it up and it's only like maybe 2, what's preventing us from doing that? Anybody? There's no wrong answer. We're here to learn.
Well, if I can just say something. Sorry.
Sure.
I guess my thing is I'm brand new, and I don't even know who am I cold calling? Where am I getting leads? I think I'm maybe a lot earlier than everyone else. So I think that's my obstacle is I don't even know where I'm getting my leads other than my pool of friends and people I know. And I have no issues calling them.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Michael. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. And yeah, absolutely. And so that's why we practice. So just like Chris was saying in the video, he went blind in space. He didn't know what to do, where to go, like what, whatever, but they practice and they practice and they practice and they practice. And what we do in real estate is we have what's called scripts and dialogues. So that's why we go over that every single class. We have a script that we kind of, study. We have dialogues that we try to go over. And that's to help us, get into situations where maybe it's going wrong, but we know what to say next. We know what the next, thing coming out of our mouth should be. So whenever we're doing these, night classes, I'd like us to really take into consideration of like what we're actually doing. When we're going over these scripts and dialogues and if you get a negative, what should you say? Really actually take into, like, really study it, like really actually go over it again, role play that out, and with yourself in the mirror, frankly, just like you're an actor or an actress, and go through the script. And so next time when you're on a call, when you're talking to a friend, when you're, cold calling a random farm or a neighborhood, you know exactly what to say next. It's like getting blinded in space. It's no big deal. You figure it out. You practice for it a million times ahead of time. So a couple of things that I really, thought of when I was watching this, what are our spider webs in real estate? Because he was making an analogy between, fear and risk, and how most spiders, are actually not even venomous. It's not a big deal. You can just walk right through a web and it's no big deal. What are our spider webs, out of curiosity?
I guess rejection.
Sure. We live in a society where you're kind of like, oh, you got rejected. Oh, and it's like a bad thing. And to be honest, I think we need to, not only for ourselves, just to build a better society, is to forget rejection. It's okay if you're rejected. It's not a big deal. So what? Somebody didn't, verify, give you the what's the word I'm looking for? Well, you weren't, I'm kind of a little lost for the word. Anyway, rejection, however, though, I think is just a part of learning and a part of growing. And I think the more times we go through rejection, the easier it becomes. Because if you don't ask for the business, if you don't ask for, a referral, if you don't ask for a lead, you're never going to get it. So, I know that rejection is tough. And it's especially tough for me. I can't tell you how many times I've been on a cold calling session where I'm calling people constantly, and the entire day is just nope. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what the heck? This sucks. But that said, there are those days where I'll go out and I'm door knocking, for example, and the first 3 doors I knock on are like, yeah, you know what? I was just talking to my husband about selling, or yeah, I was talking to my wife about selling, or yeah, you know what? I'm moving to New York. And all of a sudden it's just like touchdown. It's coming back from the space station. It's landing back on Earth. It's all those, you know, times that I went out and I practiced, you know, talking to people and calling people and whatever. And finally, here it is. I have the opportunity. I got the listing signed. I'm in escrow and I have payday. And, you know, the truth of the matter is when I first got into real estate, I was like, you know what? The second I get my license, I'm going to throw it up on Instagram. I'm going to have like 20, 30, 40, 50, maybe even 100 of all my friends are just going to call me right away and be like, dude, Jared, I've been waiting for you to get your license. Oh yeah, I'm going to buy a house through you. Guess how many houses I sold my first year? 0. Big awakening. So my point is that we need to practice these activities, you know, cold calling and door knocking and lead generation is us getting into the rocket ship and going up. It might work, it might not, it might fail catastrophically. And in fact, it's even worse odds than 1 in 30. You know, it is, you know, it's, listen, if I call 100 numbers, I might get 1 lead and it's like a iffy kind of lead. So the point that I'm trying to get at is with repetition, with action, with, you know, staying in motion, we're going to get to that space state, the proverbial space station. And all of a sudden that rejection is 1 step closer to a lead, 1 step closer to a listing, 1 step closer to a closed transaction, and 1 step closer, more importantly, to our dreams. You know, everybody on this call, I guarantee you, you know, maybe real estate was your first option in life, but a lot of times for people, real estate was an opportunity for them is the way they look at it. It's an opportunity to really finally make a good amount of money, and I mean a lot of money, in a period of time that would not be otherwise be possible. And I want us to remind ourselves of that dream, of that, you know, aspiration. And when we're doing the work, when we're doing the steps, and when we're doing our practice, to really go after it, really put our all into it. Because I promise you, if you're only doing it halfway, you're going to get halfway results. If you go in all in 100%, like my boy Isai, who's not on this call, he was in my first night class that I taught. He was doing like 300 something contacts a week. And within his first month of being licensed as an agent, I think he got 2 or 3 listings. I mean, come on, that's pretty epic. And that's amazing. And it just shows you don't have to be the most experienced, but you do have to get into action. And so all that fun stuff. Now, one quick question for everybody. What is the real risk? Because this entire TED Talk was all about risk and fear and the difference between risk and fear. What is the real risk of not getting out and making those contacts and cold calling? Besides rejection, because that's not so much of a risk. It's more of a fear. Nothing? It's not cold calling. That is the real risk. Because if you don't get out there and make the calls and make the contacts, you're not going to have clients. And you really just need to get out there and do it. And I know it's going to be petrifying. Like I said, my first year of real estate, I was scared, SH wordless, to do it. You know, I would go knock on doors, and I think I told this to the class. I would put my business card and I ran away. I put my business card on their doorstep and I ran away because I was just so scared. I was like, I don't want them to see me. Like, I don't know, like they might think I'm like some weird Jehovah's Witness, or they might think that I'm trying to rob them, or I don't know. What was the real risk?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
So I guess for me, you know, before COVID, I've had people knock on my door, and I'm like, you know, I would acknowledge them and take their information. But the thought of someone just saying, wow, I'm glad you came by today. I'm actually thinking about selling my house. Like, what's the reality of that? You know, not to be like a negative Nelly, but is it more like you've made a connection and maybe they'll call you a year from then or 2 years from then and they remembered that interaction, or what is really?
So here's the reality of that. So there's an area in Bel Air that I door knock frequently. I don't do it anymore because of COVID. But before COVID, I got 3 listings that equated to about $10 million worth of sales right before COVID hit. Now, unfortunately, I had to take them off, off because of COVID. They had to change their heart, which that kind of sucked. But truth of the matter is, it was right place, right time. And that's why every single week I would door knock that entire neighborhood. Because think of it like this: when you're on Amazon and you're shopping around and you see this item, you're like, oh man, I really want that. Oh gosh, I don't really have enough money right now. Okay, well, I'm going to put it in my shopping cart, or I'm going to look at it for a while and I forget about it. And then all of a sudden, a week later, you get a big paycheck. It's Christmas. You got some, money from your, whatever, from your grandparents or whatever. I don't know. I'm making stuff up. And all of a sudden, right in the corner of your screen, you're on like Google, pops up that thing you were looking at on Amazon. And you go, wait a second. I was going to buy that. Now I have enough money to do it. I'm going to go ahead and click on that link and I'm going to go ahead and buy it. Has that ever happened to anybody on this call? I'm sure it has, but I don't know, maybe it hasn't, but okay. And it's happened to me plenty of times. That's door knocking. That is the proverbial, AI finding your, search history habits, and all of a sudden, boop, there it goes, and I'm ready to go. Let's do it. I'm going to buy that little item right now. So with people and selling their houses, oftentimes they're waiting for a lot of different things. Right then in that moment, it might not have been the perfect time for them. But 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, a month from now, it might be perfect timing for them. So I always, urge people, I remember once I was door knocking with a newer agent, and he says to me, Jared, how many times have you door knocked this neighborhood? They all seem to know your name. I'm like, you're right. I was here last week. And he's like, why are we door knocking the same houses? I was like, because if something changes, I want to be there. I want to be the first agent that they talk to. I don't want to be finding it out on, the MLS that they went on the market because some other agent went ahead and door knocked them. And also because I want to build rapport. I want to build a trusting, relationship with these people. And Michael, for example, most of the time when I'm door knocking, it's not like, hi, my name is Jared Bedlinski. I'm the Keller Williams Beverly Hills. If you'd like to sell your house. It's not like that at all. It's like, hey, it's Jared. Nice to meet you. Hey, listen, I sold the house at 2201 Linda Flora Drive. Listen, I still have like 200 people who are looking for houses. I know you're not selling. I talked to you last week. It's okay. But again, if you think of anybody, please give me a call. How you been, by the by? How's your husband doing? I know that he had that surgery. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Oh gosh, I actually tore my ACL once and it was just like a nightmare. Anyway, listen, I got to get going. But hey, nice talking to you again. Love the roses, what you did in the front. I think it's great. Hey, have a great one. Bye. It's just, we're having conversations at that point. If the person's been like, I'm not selling, great. I don't want to sell your house. I want to sell your neighbor's house. And if you hear anything, give me a call. It's just, we're having conversations and we're being, helpful. And I'm giving them maybe a pamphlet of information of like what's actually happening in the market. Hey, blah, 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 it's Jared again. Yeah, I know from 2201 Linda Flora. Listen, one of your neighbors down the street just sold. They went into escrow. It was actually not on the market. It sold off market. So I just wanted to let you know what happened. And this is the price that it sold for. Hey, gotta go. Have a great one. But wait a second. It sold for that much? Oh, yeah, it did. Hey, listen, I was going to get going. Unless you're starting to think of selling possibly. In that case, I'd love to come in and take a look at your house. Oh, ha, 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 Jared, you're so funny. The point is we're just trying to have normal conversations and we're trying to build rapport. Now, if you do knock on somebody's door and you say, hey, it's Jared, blah, 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 here's some, interesting sales that just happened. Is now a good time to talk about possibly listing your house, sometime later this year? Sometimes I will throw that in, and then you'd be surprised. Sometimes they'll say yes. Another example is when I'm up in Bel Air, oftentimes they have amazing views. Hey, it's Jared with Keller Williams Beverly Hills. Listen, I have these new clients who are looking for some view homes, and I know that the houses here on Stradella just, They're second to none as far as views go. Do you know anybody who's interested in selling by any chance? They've seen everything on the market. No, but you should see my view. Oh, wow. I wish I could. Actually, I can see a little bit actually behind your shoulder. Wow, it really is gorgeous. Hey, you want to come in and take a look? Absolutely, I do. And I can't tell you how many times that happens. If you can identify something in somebody's house that is unique or at least perceived to be unique, because let's face it, everything on Stradella has a view, they want to show it off. People love showing off what they have. So, Michael, what I say to that is it's, yes, it is a bit of a long game. But frankly, in one day, I got three listing leads that would have been $10 million. We literally were having them sign up, and COVID happened and the lockdown happened, and they were just like, "Hey, it's probably going to be next year. Sorry, if I'm going to be locked down, I'm going to be locked down in a neighborhood where I know people," and because they were all moving, ironically, out of state, with just luck of the draw. So anyway, but yeah, it looks like you have a question.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense. I get that. Because, my background, I'm not new to sales. I worked in the apparel business my whole career and doing
Right.
branding and marketing. But I think the difference for where I'm coming from is I work for global brands that had international sales campaigns and, advertising. So for me to talk to people about the brand, it was pretty easy, right? Because the brand's already out there. So I kind of had it easy most of my career in terms of it's really building the business once I get in with a retail store is really where my work comes in, at growing their business and helping them with their teams, educate them on the brand. But yeah, no, I think that's where the transition's different for me in terms of going up to strangers. And unfortunately, I've had experience from just people coming up to me and the way they talk to me. Like I put in all new doors, steel doors in my house. And this one guy was in the neighborhood. He's actually with Keller Williams, but Santa Monica office. And
Cool.
He was like, "Oh my God, I love your doors. It looks so good. You're my favorite house on the block." And I'm like, okay, working it, So, I mean, I think that if it worked for me,
Yeah.
So anyway.
Okay. So, Michael, I'm glad that you brought that up. I was just having this conversation with a fellow agent the other day. Lead generation in real estate, you have two options, really. You're either going to be a trapper or you're a hunter. And I think that if you have a huge, international marketing campaign and a budget that you're able to get it out there, you're a trapper. You're putting traps out for people, and people see it and then they come to you, and you just sit back and wait for people to kind of show up. Now, in real estate, for most individual agents, they don't have that kind of budget. So I'm trying to teach everybody in this class to become a hunter. We're going to go after the business. We are going to be proactive about it, because trapping costs a lot of money and a lot of time. You got to be patient when you're trapping. When you're hunting, you can go after it. It's a little more active. It's a little bit more physical. You're really getting into it, and you're going after that, proverbial kill or whatever. But I don't like to use that word. But I don't like hunting. Just so everybody knows, I'm very I'm thinking of going vegan actually. But the point is that we want to go after the listings. We want to go after the leads, and especially when we're just starting in real estate. Now, you sell a couple $20 million houses, you can become a trapper. You can go ahead and start, putting out, ads into the, internet, do big, YouTube, campaigns and Facebook and Instagram. And I think that's great. And I do a little bit of that as well. Frankly, when I have a listing, I will market my listings, on social media, on Google AdWords, on all of that kind of stuff. Believe me, there is that aspect to that we should all be implementing into our strategies. But if you have no listings, if you have no active buyers, and you don't have an income stream of revenue, I think the easiest way, and I think what I'm trying to tell to the majority of the class, is pick up the phone, start making calls. Friends, family, those are all free. Doing writing handwritten notes, and sending them snail mail. Michael, I say oftentimes in a lot of the classes, how do you feel when you receive a handwritten note in the mail? That's just because, hey, I was just thinking about you, hoping you're well. I remember when we were talking about this and that, blah, 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 blah. you're like, oh my gosh, that's so special. I can't believe that they actually went through the, the trouble of doing that. And imagine if like the only handwritten note that you receive from somebody is your realtor. All of a sudden you're like, wow, that's a really thoughtful person. So, I mean, there's a plethora of things that we can do to get out there and go after the business that doesn't cost a lot of money. And so to follow this up though, so I just asked recently, what's the real risk of not cold calling, of cold calling? And I said, it's not cold calling because you're not going to get the business. You're not going to get the clients that you need. Now, what is the beauty? What is the absolute beauty that we could see for ourselves if we do cold call? What's the reward?
I don't know. I think the achievement, that when you say, okay, I did it, I think that's great. The reward. I don't know, it depends on every person.
It's a culmination of all that hard work, when Chris was talking about touching down on earth, it's the beauty of finally going through a childhood dream. And for us in real estate, it might not be as, epic as touching down on earth from a spaceship, but for a lot of us, it's the ability to provide for our family, the ability to finally, do something that we really, really wanted for ourselves, to position ourselves for that ability. It's starting maybe a charitable organization that's dear and close to your heart. I don't think money necessarily makes anybody happy, but it does amplify your possibilities, and it does open a lot of different doors. And I think it allows you to live a fuller, happier life in some regard. So the beauty of what all that hard work can turn out to be is, frankly, a lot of doors opening up for us. So, but anyway, so when we go back on Monday and we talk about our numbers, and I ask you, how many contacts did you make? How many people did you call? And I see 10 per day or 5 per day or whatever it is that we agreed upon, because everybody's different. I want to make sure that we all, and I threw my name up there actually too, just so everybody knows I'm keeping myself accountable. And it's not just me harping on you all. Where is that? There it is. There we go. So I put down 21 for myself per day and 150 by the end of the week. So it's going to be a little bit short. It's probably gonna be like 75 or something, a little bit more than that on come Monday, but I'm going to hold myself accountable as well. All right. So I'm not just asking everybody to do it. I'm also going to ask myself to do it as well. So when we go back to our numbers, whatever they are, I want us to make sure we're hitting those numbers, because it doesn't benefit me, it benefits you. And I want everybody to get out there and get after it. Sound good?
Eric, can you do a cold call now while we're on the phone?
Cold call right now?
Yeah.
I don't have my list in front of me, but yeah, why not? Let me think of who I'm going to call though, because I don't have my my numbers. But give me a second. Trying to think.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
Does
sure.
posting, so I updated my profile on LinkedIn to say that I'm a realtor. Does that count as outreach?
No.
Even if someone responded?
Well, if somebody responded, that does count. So if somebody does count, if somebody responds to you, it counts. So
I mean, not saying, hey, I want to buy a house, but some people said, you're going to kill it. And I'm like, great, send me some buyers, so I mean, I was engaged on some level on LinkedIn with people, but.
Love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, okay. But here's just a friend of mine. I've never talked to this person about real estate. So it'll be interesting. She might be a little bit offended, but this is my point. It's a little bit scary. It's like, oh, yeah, this might be taken the wrong way, but we're going to figure it out. Everybody here?
Yep. Thank you.
You have reached the voicemail box of 81.
Hey, Amanda, my jujitsu hiker friend. How the hell have you been? I went on a hike this morning and I was thinking about you. Also, ironically, I think I have a listing kind of close to your area. I think you were kind of like Northridge-ish or something like that. In any event, give me a call back. I was just wondering out of curiosity if you know anybody in those areas who are looking to get into a house because I have a listing coming up. Also, I think it'd be cool if we went on a hike. So anyway, hope you're well. I'm sure you're working right now, but let's talk soon. 310-386-8590. Cheers. Bye. So there you go. Not the best one, but
I get it.
yeah. It's just, a lot of the times you're just reaching out to people and bringing up some stuff that you've done in the past together. Hey, it made me think about you. Blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. By the way, I have something in your area. I know you might not be looking, but maybe you know some people. And we could also go on a hike again. So cool.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Julie. I just wanted to say really quickly, I had to get on my phone so that I could talk. I just wanted to say how relevant this is for me right now in this beginning stage, Michael. I'm just like you. I'm like, where do I start? Who do I talk to? And I've been really kind of practicing on friends and kind of associate, just colleagues. And it's really, really useful to just do the practicing because they kind of hit you with, especially if you're new to real estate, they hit you with a lot of questions that you're kind of like, don't have the answer to that one, but I will make sure that I'm going to go home and Google, and I'm going to talk to my mentor. And sometimes I'll write them in my phone, and then I'll talk to my mentor and say, they asked me this and I didn't, is this correct? And this is what I said. And it really does help to just get going and just talk to people and get over that hump. And this has been really great for me because I want to move on beyond my friends and talk to strangers and just put myself out there because really that's the only way I think this is going to happen, right?
Yep, absolutely. And thank you for sharing, Julie. I really appreciate that. And yeah, oftentimes it's, first we try it with our friends and family. And remember, this is LA, so we don't want to sound too salesy. We want to come from a place of contribution, hey, I was thinking about you, blah, 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 blah. I remember when we did this, by the way, slip it in there. If it doesn't work, be like, no worries. Then start talking about something else. But yeah, absolutely. And Julie, the great thing about cold calling, like genuine cold calling, you don't have to worry about what they think about you. Like if they're like, I'm not effing selling anytime soon. Great, sounds awesome. Bye. And you go on to the next one. It's no big deal. It's like water off a duck's back. It's like, oh well. And you go right for the jugular when you're doing cold calling. It's like, hey, this is Jared Medlinski, Keller Williams, Beverly Hills. Listen, I was just calling because I have a few people who are interested in buying in your location. Do you know anybody who's interested to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Done. And they're just like, yes, great. Are you interested in selling, or do you know a neighbor who's interested in selling? Well, how do you know what area I live in? Well, my records show that you live in Bel Air. Oh yeah, I do. Okay, great. So are you interested in selling? Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I'm pretty like straightforward with it. And they're like, well, I don't know. How's the market going? Well, in Bel Air right now, the average days on market is like 7 days on market because we have a seller's, market. It's a little bit more than that, but it's pretty damn close. Depending on what price range it is, the numbers kind of are different. How many square feet is your house? How many beds and baths do you have? Oh, I have, 7 beds and 8 baths. Okay, well, the price, days on market is a little bit different for that price range, but I'd love to be able to, come by and take a look and give you my, expert opinion. Is tomorrow okay, or around 3, or is 5 better? And, just literally just go right after it. And, they might kind of backpedal a little bit. They might go, oh, well, I don't know. I just talked to you, like, what brokerage are you with again? Oh, I'm with Keller Williams in Beverly Hills. But yeah, we're actually right on Cannon Drive. And frankly, by the by, I'm Jared, and I actually grew up in the neighborhood, born and raised since 1987. Local boy. And, I kind of make little jokes about it. I try to make them feel a little bit more comfortable. And sure enough, I've met with people a bunch of times, just from cold calling. And door knocking, in my opinion, is the best, but we can't do that right now, unfortunately. So, but apparently,
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. We cannot do door knocking, right?
can't do it.
No.
There's apparently no fine associated with it. So, but we're not.
Because there is somebody that I admire so much. He actually started with you guys in Keller Williams, Beverly Hills. Now he moved to Compass. He's very young, and last year he sold 53 millions, and it's most of it door knocking.
I'm telling you, it really is
crazy. But
Yeah.
he wake up early, and he has, I think, 3 hours of his day, and his schedule. He has a huge map in his apartment, and he marks the areas where he went, and then after a month he go back to those areas.
Yep.
Exactly what you say. But it's crazy how he's very young, and he sold a lot last year, and he's mostly there.
And I'm going to be honest with you. That's exactly what I do. I have a map of the areas that I door knock, and I have like a schedule of like, I'm going to door knock this street. I'm going to door knock that street. I'm going to do that street. I'm going to do that street. And then I start it all over again, and I go right back to it. Frankly, part of what I was trying to do before COVID hit, I had like a little team that we were doing it together. We were kicking ass and taking names, excuse my French. But all of a sudden COVID hit, and it put a big monkey wrench into our gears. I'm not going to lie. It was a little bit daunting for us, like, how much that affected our business. But then I had to pivot. When we're in COVID, I'd say friends and family are your best bet. I have 4 listings right now, and I got them all within the last month and a half or so. 2 of which are in escrow. I have a lease listing that's about to be, finished. I have a couple offers in at full price and monthly and all that. And then my next listing I have coming up is we're taking pictures tomorrow. So, how did I get all that? It was friends, family, and past clients. And it's just staying in contact and just calling and reaching out. And, once you get a couple clients, you'll be surprised at how your business starts to pick up. And that's really like kind of my bread and butter now, is going after referrals, is reaching out to, past clients and just being like, hey, do you know anybody else who's, looking, I'd love to be able to help them out the way that I helped you, blah, 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 blah. And then also just being like, hey, how the hell you been? I'd love to have a conversation. So with that said, I think we'll move on to showing houses, which is probably the easiest part of real estate. But, I wanted to just talk about, the differences between risk versus, perceived fear. Don't worry about how somebody will take it when you're calling them about business. You will get a couple people who might be turned off by it. You will get a couple people who are very short with you. But the fact of the matter is, it is more risky not picking up the phone and making the call than it is to, lament over it, or ruminate about it for days, weeks, months, etc. So my number one advice for new agents and experienced agents is to pick up the phone. I just had a person it's kind of ironic, Ellie, by the by. This person was with Keller Williams, and they left a Compass, and he did pretty good. And he reached out to me, and he said, hey man, I had to leave Keller to go to Compass. There's so much opportunity. And I was like, cool. He's like, so how's your business going? And I was like, great. I got 4 listings, kicking ass, taking names. And I got a few buyers that I'm working with as well. And he's like, oh, how are you doing it? And I was like, nothing special. I'm just keeping in contact with my past clients. I'm calling my friends and family, and that's about it, really. And he was like, oh, you're killing it, dude. All right, well, never mind. And I was like, so what was the opportunity at Compass? He's like, there's no opportunity. It's the same exact thing. I don't know. And I think he was trying to, get me. He's like, are you on a team? I'm like, no, I'm not on a team. I'm solo. And he's like, oh, wow. All right, well, hey, we'll talk later. And I'm like, oh, you want to grab a beer, talk shop sometime? And he's like, yeah. I think he was trying to get me to go over to Compass, frankly.
Right.
but
Maybe it's the same person. I don't know.
might be. Might be. And so, listen, it is what it is. I know that this person has a mom who has a lot of listings as well. But in any event, point is though, it's really not that complicated. Real estate, there's a lot of flashy little objects, always being shined and dangled in front of your face, like buy leads from here, go use this CRM, make your website better. Here's a really great thing to do for your business cards. But the fact of the matter is what we need to do is to say, get all that out of the way. Let's make it crystal clear of what we need to do. And all it is, reaching out to your friends, family, past business. And even if you were in another industry, reach out to your, past clients in that other industry and just do it all over again and just keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. And, eventually you will see your business just explode. So with that said, next time we talk on Monday, I want to make sure everybody's hitting their numbers or even exceeding them, because I promise you, you'll feel better about yourself, and you might even get a new lead or a new listing or a new buyer. With my lease listing, I hate leases. With a passion, I hate leases. Believe me, there's a lot of paperwork. You don't get paid as much, and it's annoying. But I got a
particular get paid on leases. Is it the end? How do you get paid on leases? Is it the year?
It's the entire year, and you get 3% of that typically. Typically, a lease is 6%, and you'll get 3% on your side. If you do both sides, you'll get the full 6%. But it's the entire year added up, and you get 3 or 6% of that. Yeah, it's just like a sale basically. But I got 2 buyers out of my lease listing. They were like, oh, we want to lease, but we were thinking about buying. And I'm like, why would you lease if you can buy? Like, come on, let's go look at some houses. So I turned those potential leasers into potential buyers now, and I'm getting them pre-approved today. So, always look for opportunities, and the more you're in action, the more you're going to succeed. I promise you.
How did you get people pre-approved?
You work with a lender, and you just refer them to the lender.
So the lender that you had sent me before, I did send them to that lender. So, okay.
Now, did you call the lender? Like, did you call her? Hi, May, this is Tanya.
Not yet.
Okay, so that's what you should be doing.
Okay.
Always. And now everybody always just likes to send it off and send it off and send it off. Pick up the phone. Pick up the phone. Pick up the phone.
Pick up the phone.
Yes.
I'm very technical. I will type and text all day, but picking up the phone, I'm like, So,
yeah,
okay.
But you know what? What can't you tell if I said, let me think. I have a brand new buyer in text. All you hear is I have a brand new buyer text. I have a brand new buyer text. Hey, May, I have a brand new buyer. They're really, really excited. Just so you know, they're not really like, Joe Schmoes. They actually have a really amazing business that's just outstanding, and they're very, very well qualified. And I think they'd be a really great addition, to your pool of potential, business. By the by, May, my name's Tanya, and I was referred to you by Jared Medlinski.
Okay.
All of a sudden, she's going to go, oh, hi, I better take care of this person, because Jared sends me almost all of his business.
Right.
So even in business, it's building rapport, often, and especially when it's business to business.
Okay.
When we pick up the phone with business, we should never worry about rejection. We should never worry about any of that kind of stuff, because they're excited to get your business. They're like, oh, yay, oh, this is awesome.
Right.
So
okay. All right. I'll do that then.
Definitely. And then also, just so you know, yeah, no worries. Just so you know, when we're in escrow, we need to be picking up that phone even more.
Oh yeah. I am really good on tracking that part, without question.
Nice. Perfect. So, okay. So with that all said and done, thank you all for that. Now we're going to go into the bulk of our class today, which is showing houses. And I'm basically going to be poking a lot of holes in this because it's COVID and there's some new regulations that we have to follow. So it's not exactly going to be accurate for today's purposes, but eventually COVID will end. So this will be a lot of good stuff for when it does end as well. So with that said, let's get into it. And where is my screen? There's my screen, and boom. All righty. So if anybody doesn't have it yet, I'm going to put it in the chat. And to everyone, here is the material for today. I'm going to be going over the instructor edition, but I'm just sending everybody the student material. So I just put that in the chat. So if you want to take a second and go pick that up. Today we says it's going to take 3 hours. I don't believe that at all. I think we'll be done within the next hour, frankly. Let's go down, 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 down. So today's expectations: learn techniques for qualifying homes you find online, develop your showing skills, practice powerful scripts that will help your buyers in the decision-making process. And yeah, fun stuff. So every single day, for everybody who's new, we do the action reveal, which is mainly our daily 10-4. And if I could have Tanya help me out with this, what is our daily?
Jared?
What is our daily 10-4?
10 calls.
Boom.
Review 10 properties.
Boom.
Write 10 notes.
Boom.
4 times a week. I don't know.
What we're adding 10, adding something into something. Adding 10 contacts.
10 contacts. Add 10 contacts in command.
Boom. So yeah, just to review it. Thank you, Tanya. You did perfect. That was awesome. So we're going to make 10 contacts a day, not just calls. We want to talk to 10 people per day. Two-way conversation. Hi, Mary. Hi, Jared. Great. Let's talk about real estate. No, I don't want to talk about real estate. That counts as one. We also want to add 10 contacts into our database. Let's say Mary wasn't having a good day that day and she tells me to go F off and she doesn't want to buy a house. Well, great. You're going to get put on a drip campaign. So we're going to try to get her email, or at least we have her phone number so we can send her text messages. Hey, Mary, I know we talked the other day, but I just really wanted to let you know that this house sold in your neighborhood. Boom. That is adding somebody into the database. We want to review 10 notes. Sorry, excuse me. We want to send 10 notes. In today's world, it is a digital world. You don't have to go ahead and get stationery and send out, stuff via the mail, but we want to at least be writing 10 personalized notes to individuals. Let's say the people that we talked to the day prior. So for example, we were cold calling on Monday. Now it's Tuesday. We're going to go write a little, email to those people that we talked to the day before. Hey, it was really great talking to you. Just wanted to, appreciate you. Say thank you for your time. I appreciate, sharing with me your wants, your needs, whatever. And love to continue the conversation at a later date. Boom. And then also we are going to preview 10 different properties per week. Now, COVID-19 has happened. We are not able to go look at properties in person all the time unless we have a buyer with us. So what does that mean? We're going to go on the MLS. We're going to go take a look at anything that's new in our market that we want to take a look at. And we're also going to go ahead and maybe look at InfoSparks, 10K InfoSparks, so we can understand what the trend of our neighborhood is. So we can look at how many days on market, what's the average days on market. How many, let me see, average sales price, average square footage, price per square foot, excuse me. A little brain fart there. So anyway, we want to do all that kind of stuff so we can be knowledgeable in our market. Now, how long do you think it could take me to do my daily 10-4?
An hour.
Boom. It really just takes an hour. That's it. That's all I'm asking all of us to just try to do every day, an hour. Let's just try it for 1 hour of picking up the phone and calling people. It could also be texting people. You can, if you're a better texter, you can go ahead and send out 10 text messages to a bunch of people or keep going until you get 10 responses. It could be 10 emails, could be 10 whatever. But the only thing that we want to make sure that we're marking is when we have a two-way conversation. That's when it counts. So whether it's calling people, texting people, emailing people, DMing people on social media, whatever it might be, we want to have 10 contacts per day. That really honestly could probably take me 30 minutes. Unless I get into a very busy conversation with somebody who wants to buy or sell, it might take a little longer than that. But I promise you, if you get somebody who goes, I want to sell my house, you're going to be pumped to make more calls that remaining hour. So we want to do that. Then also to preview, 10 properties per week. What is that really? Just want to look at what's new on the market. That's it. Every day, just check. Anything new on the market? No? Great. Done. Maybe there's one house that went on the market. Great. Let me take a look at it. Let's scroll through the pictures. What's the price per square footage? Okay, it's $912 per square foot. Let me look at 10K InfoSparks. 3-bed, 3-bath. This many square footage. The average. It's $940 per square foot. Oh, wow. It's actually underpriced for the market. Great. This looks like a viable listing. Probably going to go quick. We want to do that kind of stuff. And honestly, that whole thing, at first, when you're first starting out, that might take you a couple hours. It might take you just because you're navigating different things, you're changing gears, whatever, and that's okay. You might fall short a couple times. That's okay. We're just starting out. But the point is get into the habit of constantly being in action. I'm getting it back into hiking every single morning. No, not every single morning, every other morning. And this morning today, I did not want to get out of bed. I was very, very nice and warm. It was 5:30 a.m. and I just literally forced my legs out and eventually got up. I hit the trail by 7 a.m. I got back for the Josh's power session by 9, and now I'm on the call with y'all. So, just get into it, get into action, whatever it might be that you're planning on doing, just do it. So that's our daily 10-4. Thank you for listening to my tirade. Moving down the list, your turn to lead generate for business. If we were in a classroom setting right now, I would ask everybody to pull out your phones and laptops and start cold calling. But for right now, I want to go ahead and do some scripts with everybody on the phone call right now. If I could have, let's see, Michael Kinnaman.
You got it. It's Kinnaman.
Gotcha.
Like cinnamon, I said. So Kinnaman.
Right. There we go. I like it. Awesome. Michael, if I could get you to go ahead and read with me the I think I'm sharing. Am I sharing the script on the screen right now? I think I am.
You are, but I had to switch to my phone because someone's at my house at the moment, so I can hardly read it.
Okay, so how about this? You'll be the person that I'm calling, and I'll be the agent. So I'll read the whole script. You'll be the person that I'm calling, and feel free to throw in some curveballs if you want.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, Michael. I'm Jared Medlinski. I'm with Keller Williams Beverly Hills. How are you today?
Good.
Good. Hey, listen, I'm in the process of creating a list of preferred business and services to give to my clients. Since I frequently have clients that ask me for a good, what did you do before real estate, Michael?
I was in apparel, branding and marketing.
Okay. Since I frequently have clients who ask me for a good apparel and marketing advisor, I figured I only wanted to trust companies and refer them to. I only want trusted companies to refer them to. Since I have had excellent service from you, would you and your business be interested in being included?
Great. I'd like to establish. Oh wait, is that me or what am I supposed to
no,
say?
no,
Or
no.
make it up?
Yeah, make it up.
Can you give me some examples?
Well, for example, when you did that amazing, advertisement for my social media, where you paired that really lovely Rolex watch in my new listing, and you took that picture and you tagged Rolex and you tagged my listing, I had so much traction on that by co-branding, something in my marketing campaign, that I had all these people who were interested in Rolex, who frankly were probably in the price range that could afford this listing. started liking it, started following it. And I just thought it was really amazing how something so simple, something seemingly so simple was so effective. So it's your type of marketing that I just thought was absolutely amazing. And I'd love to be able to give that to a plethora of my other clients who do stuff outside of real estate, frankly.
And what are some benefits of the people that are included?
Well, I mean, I give you business.
Okay. And what's your percentage click-throughs?
Oh, I mean, honestly, it's whatever you wanted to do. I just wanted to give you more business. There's no anything for me. I just want to have a list of people that I know, like, and trust and are professionals in their craft. And I just want to be able to send you business.
Okay. I'd love to see, a deck of what you've done in the past.
Oh, well, I mean, you're the marketing professional. I asked you to make a Facebook post.
Oh, wait, maybe I'm messing this conversation up. Okay. I thought you were selling me on something.
No, I'm selling yourself, actually. So let's start it again. So you are a advertiser who does marketing and stuff for apparel and stuff, exactly what you used to do. So I'm calling you to basically say I love what you do. So let's start it again. Hi, my name's Jared. Hey, it's Jared Medlinski with Keller Williams Beverly Hills. Is this Mike? Oh, sorry, I'm reading it wrong. Hey, Michael, it's Jared with Keller Williams Beverly Hills. How are you today?
Good, thanks.
Hey, listen, I'm in the process of creating a list of preferred business service providers to give to my clients. Since I frequently have clients ask me for a good, marketer, and especially predominantly in apparel, I only wanted trusted companies to refer them to. Since I've had excellent service with you, would you be interested in being would your business be interested in being included in my list?
Sure, why not? We could always use more business.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And great. Listen, I like to establish these professional referral partnerships to help grow each other's business as well. So if I were to refer clients to you, would you be willing to refer your clients that are looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate with me?
Sure. Why not?
Awesome. Thank you so much. How about we confirm each other's contact information so we can get started? So great. So that's a great little script right there for business referrals and stuff like that. And frankly, I love doing business to business relationships. Frankly, it takes a lot of the personal, mishigas out of the equation. Mishigas is BS, I guess you could say, but in Yiddish. So yeah, I think it's great.
What's an example of a company you've contacted in that way?
Restaurants. I go out to a lot of restaurants very frequently. I probably shouldn't during COVID, but I feel like I'm pretty safe. I use my mask and anyway, that's not the point. Point is though, I'll go up to a restaurant and be like, hey, listen, I love promoting your restaurant and all this. I think it's one of the best restaurants on Cannon Drive. Listen, blah, 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 blah. If you know anybody, and I'm sure you know plenty, but would you be able to refer me a couple business as well? Because since I'm always posting about your restaurant, would that be all right for you? Now, some of them go, listen, I know a lot of real estate agents. It's hard for me to pick favorites, so sometimes I'll switch it up like this, and I'll go, hey, blankety blank, I love this place so much. I really want to make a video. If I went ahead and let's say made a video for your restaurant, would you post it on your social media page and tag me on it? And so that's a way that I can, create more, eyes on my profile, for example. So that's just like one thing that I could do. For example, sometimes I've gone to, a gas station. And I was just like, listen, man, I love you guys so much. I'm here every single day. Listen, can I drop off a few of my cards right here? And if you hear of anybody who's interested in buying or selling real estate, would you be able to send them my way? For example, I'll call certain service providers like my loan officer or my title rep or, I don't know, my, inspector. who does my general inspections. You know, I could always ask them like, hey, you know, I use you a lot. I really like your services. I think I bring you, you know, quite a few clients. If you have anybody in your, you know, world that is interested in buying or selling in real estate, would you also be willing to send them over my way just for an interview? You know, stuff like that. Does that make sense?
I do it a lot
Yes.
at the nail salon. Sorry to
Oh.
interrupt. Like the nail salon is great. Before, when I had my previous business, the guy has like 50 business cards of mine, and it's great. Now I give him more about my real estate business, but it's great, the nail salon, and also for the ladies, like the massage place where you go or where you do your facials, whatever. Those places are good.
Absolutely.
Good suggestion.
Yeah, and those places, they have a lot of talkie time. So when you're getting your nails done, you're chit chatting, you're back and forth, and eventually goes, oh, I'm actually looking for a new house. Boom. Hey, I know Ellie. She's great. You know, you should give her a call. Are you really? No, seriously. She's been coming here for years. She's amazing. And absolutely, you're 100% right. I do that with my barber, frankly. So he's great. Okay, so let's do another one. Who else is on this call? Hey, Derek, are you on the call?
Yeah, I'm here, boss.
What up, buddy?
Oh, you know, just living the dream.
Living the dream. You're living a lot of dreams, man. Okay, let's do, can you see my screen?
I can.
Okay. You'll be the agent, I'll be the business owner.
Okay. The agent and the business. Oops, sorry, I just lost the screen.
I'm on
right
page
here.
9. Yeah.
So start with the hi, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Hi, Jared. I'm Derek Edwards with Keller Williams Realty, and I'm in the process of creating a list of preferred businesses and service providers and to give to my clients. Since I frequently have them ask for a good realtor, I'm guessing,
Let's say
dentist, landscape, other business. Yeah, I'm looking for a trusted company to refer them to. I've heard good things about your company. Would you and your business be interested in being included?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm a dentist. So, during COVID, I've seen a huge downtick in all my clients. They don't know if it's safe. And yeah, absolutely. Please.
Absolutely. Well, great. I'd like to establish these professional referral partnerships to help grow each other's businesses as well. So if I were to refer clients to you, would you be willing to refer your clients that are looking to buy or sell a home to me with the assurance that I will provide them with the high level of customer service that you expect?
Huh. I mean, yeah. Huh. I mean, can you show me a couple of your past sales?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
Excellent. Well, how about we confirm each other's contact information and so that we can get started?
Sounds good.
All right.
All right. So just so you know, if you're new to real estate, just show the office sales and say that they're your own.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. If when people do marketing materials, can they just show what the office has sold, or does it have to be what they sold?
When it's like Instagram or stuff like that, you really should ask the agent first, but usually they'll say yes. And just be like, this is what, and you can even just say it like this. This is what my office sold in the last 30 days. Boom, 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 boom. And people will just assume it's yours. So, does that help?
Okay.
You're not supposed to say.
And I have another question. If you have a friendlier relationship with the person you're approaching in this regard, can it be less like formal?
Yeah, hell yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me. Speaking of less formal. So for example, Derek, let's do this one again, but I'm going to be the person reading it and you'll be the business.
Okay.
Okay. I'm actually going to take it off the screen. Hey, Derek, what's up, bud?
How's it going, Jared?
Oh man, what a day. Making some calls, calling some businesses. Listen, Derek, I don't want to waste your time real quick. I'm going to have to jump on another call, but I love your tequila company. I drink it all the time. You know I do because we drink together. And I just wanted to say, you know that I go to a lot of restaurants and whatnot. If I could refer you out to a couple people, would that be all right with you? Because I honestly, I think it's one of the best tequilas on the market, and I only want to like really kind of, refer it out. The good stuff. Is that all right with you?
Sounds great. We can use all the help that we can get.
Absolutely, man. And listen, same goes for me. Just out of curiosity, if I start referring your tequila out to people, if you hear of anybody who's interested in buying or selling or investing in real estate, would you be able to, pass them over my way?
Absolutely.
I really appreciate that, man. Listen, I think that, frankly, like when businesses kind of like team up together, we're both in different, categories. I think it's just a win-win for all. But anyway, man, I'm going to get off the phone real quick because I got to go make a couple calls. But do you want to meet up tomorrow for some drinks?
That sounds great, man. I appreciate the call.
Bring the tequila. Bring a brand new one. I'm going to drink the whole thing.
I'll bring two.
Thanks. Cheers. Bye. So yeah, absolutely. It could be, the way I look at scripts, they're conversation parameters. They don't have to be verbatim. But once you've done the scripts enough, you know the points that you need to hit each time. And sometimes what I like to do is I just read the first sentence, and you'd be surprised that kind of says it all. Hey, I'm Jared with Keller Williams. I'm making a list of preferred businesses and services. I'd also like to establish a professional referral partnership and help grow each other's business. Would you be willing to, do that? Done. So that's just the first 3 sentences that I just read off right now on that script, without any of the fluff in between. So you can dumb down these scripts, or you can expand on them all you want, frankly, if you're comfortable with it. But what I do recommend is when we're first starting is to read these scripts verbatim, from start to finish, just so you get used to saying the words. And then when you pick up that phone and you're ready to make the call, it's, hey, it's Jared with Keller Williams, Beverly Hills. I'm creating a list of preferred business services and providers to give my clients. I frequently use your tequila, Derek. I'd like to be able to refer it out to a lot of the different, restaurants I go to. Sounds great. Awesome. Cool. Hey, listen, I'd really appreciate it if you can also refer me out to a couple of clients. I'll scratch your back, you scratch my back. We'll all be happy and fun together. We'll be drinking your tequila with a little bit more money in our pockets. How's that sound? Great. Cool. So it doesn't have to be verbatim the script, but you do need to know what the purpose is. You want to be very purposeful when you're cold calling. Does that help?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Awesome.
No, I mean, I guess I got not verbatim, but again, I'm new, so I'm like, what are the rules?
There's no rules. Rules are meant to be broken. So, but yeah, I think the reading it first though is the best bet, and then just get right into it. Okay, so moving it down, get your head into the game. The journey. Sorry, I'm eating some almonds. I'm very hungry. The journey from buyer consultation to offer is the most exciting and rewarding part of working with buyers. Finding the right home as quickly and as possible will win the buyer and win for you as possible is a win for the buyer and a win for you, because you can work with as many buyers as possible. Here are the NAR, National Association of Realtors statistics that will help with some home search processes. Help with the home search process. The typical home buyer searched for 10 weeks and viewed 10 homes. 92% of buyers use the internet as their home search process. 50% of buyers use a mobile website or application in their home search. 98% of buyers who used an agent viewed real estate agents as a useful information source. There we go. More than 50% of buyers reported finding the right home was the most difficult step in the home buying process. 24% of home buyers reported the primary reason for the recent home purchase was a desire to own a home. 9% purchased a new home due to a job-related relocation or move. 8% bought for the desire to be in a better area for a change in family situation. So what are some ahas from those statistics? 24% for me of recent home buyers reported the primary reason for a recent home purchase was a desire to own a home. So everybody who has renters, that's a great place to start, don't you think?
Yes.
I would say so. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Only 9% purchased a new home due to a job-related change. 8% bought out of the desire to be in a better area or change in family. So if we're looking for business now, I would probably go after renters. Friends and family who you know are doing pretty good but still renting, call them up, see what they're up to. You know, where are you in the home buying process? Have you ever thought of it? Well, if you haven't, let me make you think about it.
Can I ask a quick question? There are several people leasing homes on my block, and I always think those would be perfect candidates to approach to say, hey, are you liking the neighborhood? Are you thinking of staying in the neighborhood? I'd love to help you find a permanent home. But since I can't really knock on the door and do that, I guess I can catch them out, you know, in their yard or something. But beyond that, is there a way of doing a certain search to find who the renter is, or will I only find out who the homeowner is?
Oh, hell yes, you can. Title is amazing because of that. We can actually do a very specific search with title. You're like, I want all the renters in this neighborhood. And also, if you have the title, First American Title, they have an app that you can download an entire farm and you can click on it and go, which house is owner occupied and which is a rental. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah. Is that Lauren in the office? Is that who I talked to?
Lauren Goldman, absolutely.
Okay.
He's the man. Okay, hold
Thank
on.
you. And what's the app?
Can we have his contact?
Sorry,
You can text him. The app is called First American Title, Michael.
Sorry, one moment.
The app is called American Title. Is that what you said?
Yeah, could you put it in the chat?
First American Title. Yes.
Sorry, yeah, I'm trying to multitask, so it's
Yeah,
hard.
I am too. Sorry. Ooh, anybody want to work at a marijuana dispensary? I got a job offer at a marijuana dispensary, but I don't want to sell marijuana. Anyway, sorry, I had a client actually text me. I'm going to get a 100% cash paid for a full year in advance on this lease of mine, which is great. Huh. Anyway, so interesting. That made this process a lot easier. Okay, so where were we? I forgot where we were. So anyway, moving forward. So yeah, a great place to start looking for
Converting renters to buyers.
Yeah, a great place to start is definitely the rental market. So as much as I hate leases, it's a good opportunity to find some potential clients. All right. Make it happen working with buyers. If I could have, who wants to elect themselves to read this page? How you perform here is how you're going to perform elsewhere. Come on, y'all.
I can read it. Just
Woo!
Can you hear the man outside?
We can hear you over the man. Believe me.
Okay, perfect.
Your voice comes in crystal clear.
Make it happen. Let me pull up mine because that's like small print on yours.
Okay, no worries. I'm grabbing a thing of water real quick, but I'm listening. I can hear you.
Oh, okay. There is no doubt your buyers will be searching the internet on their own. It's your job to help them identify which homes are actually worth the time to see. Your thorough buyer consultation helped establish exactly what the buyers are looking for in their dream home. Leverage that criteria using online property search sites to find several homes for your buyers to view. First, set them up on a buyer instant notification system that lets them know when a property matching their needs appears on the market. 2, monitor what your buyers receive from your KW website and app through your back office tools. And 3, contact them when you find a property they should see. Likewise, ask them to contact you immediately when they find something they would like to see.
Thank you. So they said a couple words that some of us might not be totally familiar with. Setting up a buyer instant notification, BIN system. Anyway, so that's just right in the MLS. When we go into the MLS, we can set up and save searches for our clients. And by doing so, whenever a new listing hits the market, it goes boom, right into the client's inbox. Now, some clients, depending on the person, thank you for putting that in the chat, Ellie. Some buyers, depending on the person, don't want to be notified right away. Please let them know that this could mean that they might miss on a property that hits the market and somebody might beat them to it. So it's a good way to kind of judge how serious somebody is. Now, if they do go, listen, I love it, but there's a lot of listings that come up that really suck, and I only want the winners. So sometimes you're going to want to go ahead and do a self-serve kind of search, where you're going to be looking up all the properties constantly into your email and only sending them the stuff that fits their criteria. So for example, the basics is I want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,000 square foot. So 3-bed, 2-bath, 2,000 square foot. Just writing that down for my reference. Great. So how many types of homes do you think could come up under that criteria? A lot. That is the most typical home type. 3-bed, 2-bath. That is the golden goose, so to speak. It's what most people look for. So with that said, they want a 3-bed, 2-bath, but only if it's modern. So if you set them up in like a search thing and all of a sudden they're getting 30 new listings a day, half of Archer, cut it out. He ruins my bed every single day, and it's so frustrating. Anyway, a 3-bed, 2-bath, but they only want modern. There's going to be Cape Cod sent to them. There's going to be, A-frame. There's going to be Adobe. There's going to be Spanish. There's going to be, French traditional. There's a plethora of different types of properties that could be sent to them. So for that client, you're going to probably want to send it to yourself. And whenever you see something modern come up, you're going to go ahead and send it out manually to them. But the buyer instant notification or the drip campaign that you're going to be sending them, oftentimes, if it's a very serious buyer, somebody who's very open to, different types of styles, maybe they want to find a fixer, that's a great option for people. But a lot of times, especially with people in Los Angeles, they want like that white glove service where you go through all the listings yourself and only send them the good stuff. It also depends on price point. You don't want to waste your time too much if it's like, hey, I'm looking for a $200,000, bachelor in the Valley. Like, okay, maybe just send them anything that hits the market. But if you have a client who's looking, for a $4 million 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, that's a very niche market and a very high end, smaller size home. You might want to, go through them, with a fine-tooth comb. So just wanted to mention that. All right. So we got another script. Yay, scripts. So again, scripts are scripts are our spider webs that we want to walk through. We want to get used to them. Get going through those scripts as much as we possibly can. So when we're ready for it, it's no big deal. We got it. We memorized it. We're not scared to say it. We got it good. Down pat. Okay, keep the focus on the best homes. Keep your buyers focused on the top 5 or 7 homes you've selected for them to view. Based on their need, use this script. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, when we do find the right home, we'll need to act quickly. And I know you are going to have the feeling of, well, is there just something better out there? But I have to tell you, the best homes sell right away. because they are, frankly, the best homes. Do you want to see all the homes, or do you want to find the right one quickly? So, I mean, that's a very effective script in my opinion. And it's also kind of pre-setting up the expectations for your buyer. And it's going to be, some agents will disagree with this script, but I disagree with those agents, frankly. And I've worked with a couple of them before as well, where they're like, the client's always right. Just say yes. Just agree with him. Just agree with him, and then they'll learn. Well, that's fine and dandy, but if we want to stay in integrity and we want to gain trust and we want to show that we actually know what we're talking about, it's in our interest to actually say this script. It's actually acting as a fiduciary to our client. It's letting them know what's happening in the market. You know, right now it's a seller's market. If they are priced correctly, I promise you, it is going to go away within the next week. It'll be off the market in escrow, no chance. So in my opinion, it is our fiduciary responsibility to let our clients know upfront that if they see something they like, we better be writing, because it's not going to be there the next day if it's priced correctly. So I really like that script a lot. So can't tell you enough how much I like it. Okay, qualify homes online. You know your buyers will be searching online. So when they call you and are excited because they've found the one, remind them that you still need to qualify the home before you jump in the car to show it. Check the MLS to make sure the home is still available. Compare the features of the home with your buyer's wish list and the 5 must-have sheet. Is it a really good fit, or are the buyers letting their emotion factor cloud their better judgment? If it doesn't seem like a good match to you, take advantage of the opportunity to further fine-tune their wants and needs. Simply ask 2 or 3 questions. Asking 2 or 3 questions can save you an hour of time viewing a home that doesn't meet their criteria. Archer, cut it up. No. Come here. All right, my dog's being in pain right now. Come here, bud. Anyway, okay, so let's read the script. You told me that blankety blank feature was one of your 5 must-haves. 2 of the homes that you sent me do not have that feature. Is that something you are willing to give up? They might realize, oh shoot, it's not. Or they might realize, yeah, it is. Archie, come here. Hold on 1 second. Want your baby? You want your baby? Take your baby. There you go. Okay. All right, make a showing appointment. Leverage the trip by checking to see if there are other comparable homes your buyer might want to see at the same time. All right. Your turn, qualify the properties. Okay. If I could have, let's see. Ellie, I'm gonna pick on you right now. If you could read page 15 for us.
Yes. Your turn, qualify properties. Choose a partner to work with. One will be the agent and the other will be the buyer. Buyer, determine the type of, should I keep going?
No, we're gonna skip this one. We're gonna go to the next page.
Okay.
Sorry, we can't really work in groups right now, so sorry about that.
Show homes?
Yeah, let's do show homes.
Okay. Okay, show homes. Organization and the ability to guide your buyers towards a decision will make your home showing successful. Prepare to show homes. Look at the showing instructions on the MLS to schedule the show times. Always call the listing agent to see if the home is available and if there have been any offers. 3, set the home tour date with your buyer with a specific start and end time. 4, try to give a 24 hours notice if possible. 5, check your buyer to make sure they have earnest money ready if necessary. 6, review the homes and eliminate any that do not meet the criteria. 7, prepare and educate yourself about the homes and demographics, right? Yes. Be the source of information. 8, determine which road to take, always showing the best home first. 9, 8, don't remember. Arrange to meet with your buyer at your office or in front of the first home you will be touring. 10. Print out 2 detailed MLS information sheet for each property you plan to tour with your buyer. Place the MLS information sheets in the order you will tour the properties and include a home tour checklist for each one so the buyer can record their own comments. Make one set for your buyer and one for yourself. Make a copy of the 5 must-have sheet that was filled out during the buyer consultation and included with the MLS and home tours checklist you will give to your buyers.
Perfect. Awesome. So what are some ahas in that that we just read? I know, Ellie, did you get anything out of reading that? Maybe you didn't think about.
Yes. No, I did. I think that the notice and also, well, now I think we have to check the MLS how to show the homes, right? If we need to be, of course, wearing masks, I don't know, like not touching many things in the house, maybe.
Yeah, totally.
Because of COVID.
Yeah. More in particular, because you mentioned that made me remember COVID. We can't really do, just show up, it's on lockbox. We really have to call the agents, 24 hours in advance these days at minimum. Before COVID, oftentimes you'd see something that says lockbox on door, go direct. And if you have a super key, or it's like on Supra, go direct, vacant. And you can just show up with your client, don't have to call ahead of time, and you just go right in there. Now, even then, I would say go ahead and give the agent a call just to say, hey, is there anything specific you should let me know about the property before I show my client? I'm going to show them a little bit later on today. Anything you want to point out? And they might go, oh yeah, there's this little clicker in this remote thing where this custom TV pops up out of like the bed frame. You should show it to them. They might love it. Hey, I didn't know that. Thanks for letting me know. I don't know. I'm just making something up. Pretty tacky, but I actually kind of want one because I'd love to watch TV in bed. But whatever it might be, or yeah, on the left side of the, whatchamacallit, it turns on all the fountains in the pool. Maybe there's like a little like water fountain thing that goes over the pool and lights and does stuff and I don't know, whatever. So anyway, you want to call the agent ahead of time. But more particular, because of COVID, we want to make sure if there's clients that are living on the owners living on the property, they might need like an extra, time just to, figure out when they can get the people out of the property. Maybe they're scheduling only on Saturdays and Sundays for showings. There could be a plethora of different things for properties. So definitely a important thing to do. Also, printing out the MLS sheet information and having 2 copies. This is very important. Unless you have a photographic memory that is perfect, most people, even if they do have a photographic memory, don't have a perfect one. You need to bring an extra copy of the MLS data because your client, I promise you, is going to all of a sudden, the first thing they do when they walk in, they're going to go, so how many square feet is this? And you're going to go, I don't big? Like you want to actually have a number instead of just going, I don't know. Like you want to be able to go, oh yeah, it's blah, 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 blah. And you can actually do something that's called a hot sheet. So you can just get all like the very important information that you need, bed, bath, square footage, year built, all that fun stuff. And you just, kind of just glance at it. And it's like, oh, it's this. What I like to do is I print out the agent version and I give my client the client version. And I just highlight all the important information. And eventually you get used to kind of like looking at where certain stuff is. Like I know the bed bath count is at the top, like right above the pictures. I know days on market is down over towards the right hand, thing under the pictures. I know that, whatever. And it's just like, I just know where to look. So it's just really easy for me to glance. But when I first started, I remember, I was doing an open house for another agent. And this is, do as I say, not as I do. So I remember when I was doing this, it was one of my first open houses that I was holding by myself. And I just didn't really study ahead of time. I thought I did, but I really didn't that much. And people would go, how many square foot is this? I'm like, you know what? I don't really know. Sorry. I'm just sitting in the open house. And nowadays, when I think of myself saying that, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I actually said that in front of a potential client. You know, these people are walking in the house without agents, and they're asking a real estate agent for information on the house, and I couldn't give it to them, like, or I just wasn't willing to. I don't know what I was thinking. I was probably just nervous because it was my first, you know, open house, but I remember distinctly saying that. And I remember the next time I was going to the open house, because I did it a Saturday and a Sunday, I was like, okay, Jared, you are going to learn all of the info of this house before stepping in again. And I did. And the second time I had the open house, it was great. I was like, oh, it's this many beds, it's this many baths, it's this many square footage. It was built in this place. And, you know, I think you should take a look at the backyard. Isn't it really lovely with the tree and how private it is? And I knocked it out of the park. I actually got my first buyer. Well, we never ended up closing because we got them pre-approved and they just they couldn't afford it. But I got a potential lead, my first real lead, you know, so to speak, from the second open house that I did there. So definitely print out all this stuff, be prepared. Other than that, you're going to knock it out of the park. It'll be great. Okay, help buyers view homes. Thank you, Ellie, for reading that, by the way. Help buyers view homes. One of the most important parts of preparing your buyers to evaluate the home is to help them understand the thing that they should look things that they should look past. This is huge, actually. As you ask your buyer for their comments on the home, help them to distinguish between the things that they like and didn't like. If their dislikes are things that are like the yard size or structure of the home, things that cannot be changed easily, ask them if that is the deal breaker. When it comes to things that are like wall color or lack of landscaping, discuss easy, low-cost solutions and help them see past these issues. Have your buyer use the home tour checklist to guide them as to what to look at in the home and make comments. So what I actually like to do is it's on Cloud CMA. To be honest, I don't really do it that much anymore because they never do it. If I'm going to be honest, I never see them writing notes while they're walking through homes. It's usually like a gut reaction, but you can do it. It's on Cloud CMA Buyer Tour. And you get to Cloud CMA through the MLS, and it's Cloud CMA Buyer Tour. And it has like a comment section, like underneath the pictures, you can write little notes. Like it's great. I think it's lovely. I've never seen a client use it in all like my years. I've never seen a client take notes at a house. I don't know why. Maybe I'm lucky. I don't know, but I've never seen it. But if you want to go the extra mile, it makes you look very, very professional, and it helps them feel like they're being taken care of. So in that regard, it's definitely worth it. But I never see clients taking notes. It's kind of funny. Anyway, I would, frankly. Okay, let's see. You should use a home tour checklist found in the Ignite toolkit. So you could also find one in the Ignite toolkit, apparently, as well. Remember, every time you take a buyer out to look at a home, you're also previewing the home for other potential buyers. As a real estate expert, you need to be aware of what is on the market. So whenever we're showing clients homes, I can't tell you how many times I'm like with the client and they're like, oh, I hate this, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I hate that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, this is a great home. Exactly what you're looking for. Sorry, what's that? Oh, no, I'm actually sending a picture of the house to my other client. This is perfect for them. No, I get it. You hate it. We're going to go see another one. I don't necessarily sound that, blasé about it, but oftentimes I will be in a house and I'm realizing, oh my gosh, this is perfect for my other client. And I'll go ahead and I'll send them a quick text message from HomeSnap or the KW app or whatever, and I'll just send it off to my client while I'm showing the house to another client. So always keep in mind that this house might not work for that client, or it might work for both of your clients, and even better. I've yet to do it, but I look forward to it. But representing two people for the same house and seeing who wins. So that'd be interesting. Tanya, do you have any questions?
Nope.
Okay, cool.
Can I ask a question? Have you ever been in a situation where you could have two clients that are in a bidding war against each other?
No, but I'm waiting for the day, and I look forward to it.
So it is possible to represent two different buyers and put in two different offers for two different buyers?
Uh-huh. Oh yeah. It's actually a stipulation in our contract. It says we may be representing other people for the same property. Oh yeah. Yep, yep. So interesting stuff, right? Now there are some fiduciary issues there, and you got to be very careful, and you got to bite your tongue. If you know one of your clients is offering more than the other one, you can't go, listen, I'm representing this other client and they're offering this amount, and this is what you should bring it. You shouldn't do that. You
Right.
can, however, go, all right, so you want to go in at this price? Okay, well, I think that if you went up a little bit, it might help. No, you don't want to? Okay, let's go in at this price. You got to be as, neutral as possible. Listen, and why am I saying that? Because I talked to the agent and I found out that there's multiple offers. Not because I know my client's offering more money, but because I called the real estate agent. I asked the listing agent, how many offers do you have in? Oh, you have 3. And I know that I'm submitting 2 more. That's going to be 5 potential offers on the table. I'm not going to tell them what my other one is at, but I will say, listen, judging by the fact that this is a multiple offer situation, maybe you might want to come up. Not because, oh, my client is offering this amount. So always keep that in mind. Now, if they ask you, are you representing any other people on this house? You tell them, yep, I am. If you are. If you're not, then no, obviously. But you always want to be honest when it comes to real estate. Okay. So this is a home tour checklist. It's all right. I like it. Definitely could work it. Up to you if you want to use it. All right. So touring the home, ring the doorbell, even if the home has a lockbox. Oh, this is actually kind of funny. Once I was going to preview a house and it was on lockbox, and I open it up and I go, hello, hello. And all of a sudden I hear the shower going on in the other room. And I'm like, this is awkward. So we left and we went back to that house later that day. So somebody was probably taking a shower. So we just went to the other property that we had on our schedule and came back. Also, just for safety reasons, you want to check to make sure that there's nobody in the house. Not to, get a little bit, dark or anything, but you never know. So just also make sure that the house is empty. A lot of times people target houses that are on the market to steal furniture, sofa, appliances, stuff like that. So you never know. Something creepy could be going on in there. Anyway, ring the doorbell, even if the home has a lockbox. If the property is occupied, ring the bell at least twice before entering. Before going beyond the entry, shout, hello, real estate agent, a few times to make sure no one is home. Record your own comments on your copy of the MLS sheet for each property as you show it. Have your buyers give descriptive names to help them visualize the homes individually, e.g., the Great View House, the Creek House, the Fountain House, the Smelly Cat House. And surprisingly enough, it helps to kind of identify which is which. Instead of address, be like, what would you call this house? While touring properties, avoid making comments. Let your buyers come to their own conclusions. Instead, ask questions. You want to get inside their heads to determine if the house is really a match for them with what they want. Try asking, what would you change about this house? Can I give you the knowledge? This can give you the knowledge you need to get them to the proper home. Archer, give me a second, please. I'm going to let my dog out. He's got the Zooms right now. So give me 1 second. I just need to open the door. What is it, buddy? Okay. You're just going to come back and try to get back inside. I know you. Ready, bud? All right, whatever. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. Where were we? There was one thing I wanted to mention. Oh yeah. Any questions so far? I'm just trying to figure out where I was. Is this where I was? Yeah. Okay. Help buyers identify their perfect home by pointing out the benefits, not the features, that align with their needs, wants, and values you have already identified with them. Features are attached to the property, benefits are attached to the buyer. For example, if the house has new windows, point out that benefit, not just the fact that they are new. New windows mean you'll have lower utility bills. So you'll have some extra spending money each month. Have buyers rank the house you have shown them in order of 1 to 5. If you are working with a couple, have them do this at the same time to see if they are on the same page. This exercise will help the buyers self-discover as to what is really important for them in their new home. Finally, ask the buyers, do you see yourself living here? Follow up with why or why not. If they respond affirmatively, ask, are you ready to make an offer today? Always be closing. Okay, one thing I wanted to touch upon on this that I found is very, very important. When touring properties, avoid making comments. Let your buyers come to their own conclusions. Don't be the agent who's like super, super talky, like, hey, would you like this? Hey, do you like that? Hey, do you like blah, 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 blah. It's like, hey, let them walk in. Let it be a relaxed kind of process. It should be Zen-like. And you'll know pretty quickly if they like the property or not. You know, they're going to go, oh my God, look at that. Oh my God. Let them be the one going, you know, look at this, look at that. I love this. Like, you know, you don't want to be overzealous. You don't want to be, you know, we call it commission breath. You don't want to seem like you're just like, oh my God, I just want to sell this house. You want to just be relaxed, cool, calm, confident. And then when you start seeing them making these moves, go like, yeah, it is a really nice backyard, isn't it? What would you do back there? You know, and, you know, oh, wow, I could just see like a little play place for the blah, 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 blah. Oh, wow, you don't have kids yet. You know, is that why you're looking, you thinking of having kids? Yeah, well, actually, we just found out she's pregnant. Oh my gosh, congratulations. You're actually the first person we told. Oh my gosh, I feel so honored. This is so cool. You'd be surprised at how close you'll get to your clients. When you're looking for a house, it's amazing. You're oftentimes the first to know a lot of different things. So anyway, you know, this is also a rapport building, you know, moment. Oh yeah, my dog is going nuts again. Give me a second. I am so sorry. Hold on. Archer, what is it? I told you you didn't want to get up. Come on, get in here. Thank you. All righty. Does anybody have kids they want to trade for a dog by any chance? At least you can talk to kids. Okay, so anyway, moving forward. I think we're going to wrap up pretty soon. Does anybody have any questions, more importantly, just that's maybe not necessarily on this, about showing houses? And more in particular, maybe about, you know, in regards to COVID? Nothing?
I just have a question. I know it said something about, you know, not really commenting while you're looking at a house, but what if you have a client that's a buyer that's kind of open to doing some renovation? Maybe their budget doesn't allow them to get that dream home. Can you kind of, you know, make comments on if they call it out on some things that could be changed?
Oh yeah, totally. So I think the thing kind of mainly said was like, let them bring it up, and then you can kind of talk about it. So for example, if they're really, maybe you're talking about more of like a client who's kind of like closed off and like, you know, pursed lips and like not really talking too much. Then yeah, you can, you know, bring up some questions, you know, stuff like that. Be like, so what do you think about this? Like, I know that you're, you know, looking to do like a little bit of rehab, you know, with this property. Maybe it's somebody who has a lot of money, but they want something that they can make their own. Or maybe, like you said, that they don't have the highest budget, so they're looking for a fixer. Whatever it might be. Yeah, absolutely. You know, what do you think of the wallpaper? What do you think of this? What do you think of that? Totally. Yeah, you can definitely ask those questions, especially if they're kind of, you know, quiet or shy or something like that. Yeah, totally. Okay, let's finish with some scripts. All right. I'm gonna do Michael. You'll do the first one, objection. Then Tanya, let's do the second objection. And then Ellie, this is kind of just going down the list. I have Tanya, Ellie, and Michael all on the same screen. You'll do the third objection. So Michael, first one, it starts with Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, my role as your buyer specialist.
Okay, sorry, I'm on my phone, so I have to zoom in.
All good.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith, my role as your buyer specialist, and the reason why we met for consultation is to sort through the homes that meet your criteria and only show you the best available homes, the cream of the crop, and the best homes on the market go fast, usually in 1, maybe 2 days. If you love this home, chances are someone else does too. Are you willing to lose the perfect home for you? Your wow home, the one you will absolutely love, just so you can see everything out there?
Wow, that's long-winded. That is an inspirational speech, in fact. I like it. It says all the important stuff, but I think it's a little bit long-winded. But that's a great script, though. You know, I totally like it. Tanya, let's do the second script on the page.
Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, remember at our first meeting when we talked about there being no such thing as a 100% house, just refer to the 5 must-have sheet. We identified blank as being the 5 must-haves in your new home. Has a formal dining room taken precedence over one of these items? If so, which one? And if yes, you will need to begin a new search. I guess that's to the realtor.
100%. And sometimes that happens, you know? So yeah, we really wanted a formal dining room, you know, and sometimes you want to, like, you know, kind of put it back in their court. Very good. Ellie, if we could do the last script on the page.
Yes, I hear what you're saying, and this home does offer you a chance to add your own personal touches. Will it be better for you to pay higher price for the seller to make the changes, or just redo this one thing yourself to meet your specific needs? Great.
Totally. Oftentimes, I can't tell you how many times I've had a buyer. Oh my God. And it's usually like the first 1 or 2 times we've gone out looking at homes. It's like, oh, I love the house. It's perfect. It's amazing. Oh, and then the wife or the husband opens the cabinets and they go, it's dirty. Who cares if it's dirty? Clean it. You know, when you move into it, what are you talking about? And I'm just like dumbfounded. Like, yeah, my wife opened up the cabinets, and I'm not kidding. I actually got this. Opened up the cabinets, and there was a little bit of dust inside of it. And, you know, it's just, you know, we're just worried that, you know, I'm like, whoa. If you're worried about that, I will personally come in there and clean it myself. I promise you. That is not a reflection of the property being bad. Let's ignore that, because we can easily write in, we want to professionally clean before the client moves in. And then that's taken care of. In fact, we want it professionally cleaned, and we also want to, you know, and I recommend to my buyers, you know, and I also recommend getting a painter to come in and just paint over, you know, the insides of the cabinets again, you know, whatever. So I've had people complain about the paint being a color, the too much dust inside of a cabinet. One was a floorboard was kind of popped up a little bit. All these things are easy fixes and shouldn't be a reason not to, you know, move forward with a house. So when something like that happens, this is a great script to kind of just like, you know, is this something that maybe you could take care of like the first week of living there? Or is this something that, you know, reflects the quality of the entire home? And, you know, even kind of shake your head a little bit while you're saying that, like, and they're going to go, oh yeah, you're right. I guess I'm being a little bit nitpicky. Absolutely. Aside from this little, like one issue, what do you think of the home? Well, I think it's perfect. Great. I think there's going to be a lot of other buyers out there who's going to think this home is perfect as well. I think we should probably sit down and maybe make an offer if you think the home's perfect other than this, because we can always just go ahead and when we're doing our inspections, once we're in escrow, we'll ask for a request for repair and boom, and it's going to be taken care of. How does that sound? Sound good? Sounds great. Awesome. Let's get to writing. So definitely, keep that in mind. There's going to be a lot of times where, somebody just, it's the wallpaper, it's the furniture, it's the this, it's the that. Well, guess what? The furniture doesn't come with the house. So get ready with those kind of retorts and those comebacks, because you'll be surprised. A lot of people do not have imagination, and they're not as intelligent as they think they are. They make mountains out of moguls. So with that said, we are pretty much done with today. There's a couple other things in here that I think is great. Create buyer urgency. That's another video we could watch. But the most important thing I want to say before we get off the call is, when we're doing showings today, we have to be very, very careful with COVID-19. And I know people harp on it all the time. I recently had a person looking at a house. Archer, you better not be chewing that. I recently had a person coming to one of my open houses, not an open house, but a scheduled, showing. And they get out of the car, and I have my mask on and I have my gloves on. And you don't necessarily have to wear booties, but I recommend them. And this is not a political thing, mind you. Anybody who's on this call who is like anti-mask or anti-whatever, get the whole politics out of your mind. It's not. It is actually to protect you. In the event somebody does come down with COVID, you can say, hey, I had them all wear masks. I had them all wear gloves. I had them use hand sanitizer. I'm indemnified. It must have been, some dinner they went out to, not me. So this is not a political statement. This is nothing related to that. This is protecting yourself as a responsible real estate agent who has a license to do this, and make sure that you take this seriously, because the last thing you want is somebody to accuse you for giving them COVID-19 and somebody in their family happens to pass away. Maybe it's not them. Maybe it's their 90-year-old aunt or uncle or whatever it might be. So please keep that in mind. Now, with that said, I had this lady come out of the car. She didn't have her mask on. She didn't have anything. She was very, very hyper. I think she just came back from a Trump rally, frankly, on Santa Monica Boulevard that day. There was one that day. They were coming from Palm Desert. They specifically asked for this day and time because it was right after the Trump rally. I put two and two together after it happened. And I asked her very nicely. I said, ma'am, would it be could you please put on your mask before we enter the property? And she said, are you kidding me? And I said, no, I'm not kidding you. And she said, who are you to impose that on me? And I said, this is just what my brokerage asks of me. The National Association of Realtors requires it. California Association of Realtors requires it. And in fact, that's why I'm having you sign this paper to basically state, to the best of your knowledge, you do not have COVID-19. And it's also to protect you, because in the event that you walk into the property and you don't sign this thing, and you happen to have had COVID and you give it to somebody and something happens, they could potentially sue you. This is not a political thing, ma'am. This is just trying to protect you, trying to protect myself, and trying to protect the people, the tenants who are living on this property from a lawsuit, not from any political reason or because I think it's, whatever. And, she said, then she was like, kept refusing to, and I said, ma'am, also frankly, the wife in this, who's one of the tenants is pregnant, and the doctor had requested her to be extra careful. And she said, so what, is she dictating whatever I did? She's not the one who decides if I live here or not. And I said, no, she's not, but she's actually the legal resident of this property. So you're entering her home. And she's asking that everybody wear a mask who walks in. And so eventually she put on the mask. Anyway, that also happens to be the person who's offering an all cash, for a full year up front. So I kind of like them now. But the point I'm trying to make is you might run into some issues with people refusing to wear masks, refusing to wear gloves, but please stand your ground. It is not a political statement. Again, it is just to protect you as the agent. It's to protect them from, liability, and it's to protect your seller or leaser or whatever from liability. So keep that in mind. Other than that, last final thing, just gloves, masks, hand sanitizer, booties are optional. But I actually use all four of them just because I want to be careful. I don't want a lawsuit for something silly. Anyway, with that said, any questions at all? We're good?
We're good.
All right. So
Thank
one last
you.
thing before we go.
Thank
Get-
you.
I have a question.
Don't be scared to make calls. Yes, Michael.
You know, is there a way to get the other Ignite classes so I can look at them before we start?
Yeah. So okay, if you go to
Okay, bye, Jared.
bye, have a great one. If you need to go, go for it.
Bye, guys. I have to go.
Bye.
Thank you,
Ellie.
Jared. Bye.
I don't know if this is the
Is it on the command website?
yeah. So if you go to
Connect.
KW Connect, I just don't know if this is the instructor manual or the no, it is not. Okay, great. Okay, I'm gonna put a link into the chat box. If you
Okay.
can see this link, you can
Perfect.
get right into it. Once I get this going. So for everyone who's on this call, this is the link to all the materials, every
Okay.
single class that we have. So you can read ahead, you can read back, you can do what you got to do. So anyway, good, Michael, did you get it?
It says this page isn't working, so I don't know. I don't know if it's like a login issue or.
Yeah, it might be. So hold on, let me just go back to the Connect site. 1 second.
I mean, I have the command connect thing, so.
Yeah, hold on. I'm just gonna make sure that you're all. So you're gonna go to this web page that I just put in here,
Right.
page home. You might need to sign in. If so, sign in. And then you're gonna go to training. And then you're gonna go to KWU. And then eventually Ignite.
Okay. All right, I'll try it after we're done because I still keep getting that same page. So,
Oh, that's weird.
like
yeah.
this doesn't work. So, but I got it. So Keller Williams University, and it's kwconnect.com.
Yeah, it's called KWU. So I would just go to kwconnect.com and go to resources,
Okay.
KWU, and then Ignite.
Okay. Perfect.
All righty, bud.
Okay.
Cheers. Have a great one.
Thank
Anybody
you.
else?
Appreciate it.
We're good. All right. Have a great
Thanks,
one.
Jared.
Cheers. Have a productive day. Bye.